If only everyday teaching and learning was such fun.
दाढ़ी काली मूछें काली.
The past decade has seen a remarkable rise in the number of first-generation learners who have enrolled in schools. However, in ensuring children's literacy, even basic reading comprehension and written proficiency remain key challenges. In this context, age-appropriate, graded educational material for instructional and recreational purposes becomes critical. The linguistic diversity in our country calls for suitable reading material for children and neo-literate readers in a number of regional languages. In order to bridge the yawning gap between the demand and supply of quality educational material, the Sir Ratan Tata Trust launched its PARAG initiative in 2005. PARAG supports the development and dissemination of innovative publishing. The initiative promotes publication of children's literature in regional languages, professional development among illustrators, writers and publishers, dissemination of quality publications, and networking among artists, publishers and educationists. Publishing quality material may be fun, but it's certainly not child's play, as this enchanting little diorama may suggest. This set of characters has been used to illustrate a text from the Gadabad series on family values, brought out by the Centre for Learning Resources, or CLR Pune, one of PARAG's partners. Through its bilingual publishing, CLR employs the globally researched understanding that a known language can fruitfully be used to learn a new one.
Each of these storybooks, as you see, it has text in Marathi or Hindi at the top and then English. We've made sure that the way the sentences break up as much as possible relate in each case, so that children can use one text to make sense of the other.
The instructional, supplementary and recreational material readers published by the CLR have grown out of their long experience in the teaching of both the first language and English in regional medium schools. CLR's texts are high-quality, visually appealing publications, uncommon in regional language publications.
We made sure that we were depicting a whole range of Indian situations and families, and the diversity which is unique to our Indian culture. We were also trying to depict diversity by way of gender, in communities, disability and so on.
चिडतो मध्ये त्याला त्रास दिला तो काय म्हणतो चिंटूला ए जा मला नाही वेळ.
An interesting concept of familiarity to remove the fear of learning a new language is being promoted by CLR. It involves the use of the same bilingual text across different grades to help students attain different levels of language proficiency, first in Marathi and then in English.
Stand up, read the sentence loudly. Nice bright red. He asked politely. Go away.
Anveshi Research Center for Women's Studies in Hyderabad looks for new ways of understanding complex contemporary issues in education, culture, and questions emerging from Dalit and minority communities. Anveshi's project, Different Tales, Stories from Marginal Cultures and Regional Languages, presents a set of stories about lives and experiences that rarely find a place in mainstream children's literature.
దళిత వాడకు సంబంధించిన లాంగ్వేజ్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్సెస్ కూడా బాగా ఉంటున్నాయి. వాటన్నిటిలో ఎక్కడ కూడా దళిత లాంగ్వేజ్ కనిపించదు. ఈ లాంగ్వేజ్ని వీళ్ళ జీవితం చుట్టూన్న విషయాలను, మాటలని, ఆ మాటలు కూడా వ్యవసాయ ఉత్పత్తి, దానికి ఉపయోగించే పనిముట్లు, పండే పంటలకు సంబంధించిన చిన్న చిన్న పేర్లు, ఇవన్నీ కూడా అందుట్లో పెట్టి రాయడం అనేది నాకు చాలా ఇంట్రెస్ట్ అనిపించింది.
These long unheard voices subvert fundamental stereotypes. Stories from Telugu and Malayalam have been sourced for publication in the 9 to 14 age group.
We are pushed to rethink set assumptions in children's literature about what an ideal childhood is like or should be. We realized that stories with non-conventional themes and settings would require a different approach and address in illustrations as well. We are fortunate to have worked with eminent artists from Baroda. This collaboration has resulted in some very thoughtful and different illustrative styles.
Anuradha, a researcher at Anveshi, also teaches at Anand Bharati, an organization providing free education to domestic helpers. As part of her story reading sessions there, she has started to share some of the stories published under the project.
అంటే నేను స్టోరీ వాళ్ళకే వదిలేసాను, మొత్తం స్టోరీ చెప్పలేదు. సస్పెన్స్ వాళ్ళనే ఊహించమన్నాను, ముగింపు. సో కరెక్ట్గా స్టోరీలో ఏం రాసుకున్నామో అదే వాళ్ళు చెప్పారనమాట.
Durgabai here is working on the visuals of the first ever big book in Hindi to be published by Eklavya, another of Parag's partners. The story in this is a folk tale that exists in many variations as part of the collective memory of children and adults in North India. Eklavya has been experimenting with the use of familiar texts to enable faster learning. It has brought out over 50 new titles across various genres over the 3-year grant period.
Our language teaching in the classrooms, we normally confine it to just the spellings and pronunciation, the correct way of saying things or doing things. And that restricts the scope of language learning immensely. But that does not stop the children from exploring all the possibilities that exist in language. But this they do outside the classroom. For example, in this book, there is a small poem or song called Akkad Bakkad. Akkad Bakkad is a word, or it's a thing which is created entirely by children in their imagination. And it creates totally new song, new arrangement of words and sounds which you'll never encounter in a textbook. The idea was to put it down on print and give children a very familiar text which will help them to not only relive the joy of these poems, but also to learn to read and write through this.